bum, 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 bum. Hey, 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 hey. Now you know that nothing matters. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, hello, hello, and welcome, one and all. I'm Crimson Skies, and this is another live stream. That's right, day 12. I think I'm on now. Day 12. Of course, it's the 12th day I've been able to play. Um, I guess I should be a bit specific on that, huh? Because otherwise, some people might get it mistaken and think that I've got a bunch of passives. Oh, it's the immortality one, right? Yeah, added rival. This is the 30-minute skill gain call, so we'll just go straight back to farming. What I can get, we'll pull up the chat so I can see what's going on. Technically, I have it. So I was looking on the auction. There's like 5K. Just yes. Now, there is something interesting. So I think my goal is, I think what I want to do this time around is, while I AFK sweat for several hours, I kind of want to see like websites, because I think my plan isn't just to fucking do this, right? You know, obviously, not just do this, but I kind of want to work on the Entropia wiki, because I just don't like it, man. I don't like the fact that it's so bare bones. Of course, if I just complain about it, you know, then I'm not really helping. So I think that'd be good. So let's look it up. Can I edit this? Edit. I don't have rights to edit. Register an account. So account. Being attacked. Being attacked. Can't acquire any more sweat, so we'll just run up. Okay. Account I can register. Crimson Skies. Okay, so let's try it. Okay. So obviously it's a register QYUR. Is that an R? Oh, it's a K, isn't it? Register. Okay, I'm logged in. Okay, that's great. Cool. So now skills. Fuck. see if I can find it through here. Sweat. If I just type sweat, right? It should pop up. So trades. Selling 1K sweat. Can't acquire anymore. He's just outright attacking him. A psychopath. Scan animal skill. I still haven't quite figured out what the scanning skill is for. Someone said it helps with... Should be one over here. Oh my goodness. Okay, we got a whole lot. You buy? Oh, someone's offering to buy it? I can figure out what's staying here for a second. Might have attracted too much here. Whisper to Heyday. Whoa. I guess I spammed him twice. Okay, well, let me see if I get a response. I didn't mean to send him twice. I don't know why that happened, but... Okay. Oh yeah, so while I'm kind of in that game, I want to try to figure out what I got skill. Okay, so we are here at skill. I want to see if I can edit. Can I edit? Well, that really is everything. Look, they didn't even do... So I know there is, sweat... Gathering... let's do tips, planet, Phillips, so I think it was that, right? Newbie guide to sweat gathering. So there's a bunch, right? Sweat guide. Right here, just this right here, entropiaplanets.com. I think this would be good to have. But, I don't know. I just want to see if I could. It seems like... Sweat gather profession. Click the profession icon, top right icon to view all your current professional levels. That's so cool. It doesn't look like I got actually anything worthwhile from it. So I can't click on it. Progenic kid, jammer, virus, sweat gather. Waypoint added. Said it was on Calypso. Where? Oh my god. Okay, you know. That's a little far away, man. I don't have that teleporter. More HP than using laser rifle and BOP rifle. Okay, so give me a location. I don't want to go all the way over there, man. That's so far away. I think I'll just leave it. I'll probably just wait till I got 5k sweat, and then I'll how do I add? Oh no, I lost a tab. How do I make tabs? Shit, I ended up getting rid of rookie chat. New tab. Okay, we'll pull rookie. Okay. You're obviously going to exclusively hold rookie chats. System, name. I think I'll add trade. New tab. Trade. Okay, you're obviously going to have trade and county. And we'll do private messages too. I hate how inefficient my dude is with it. See, popular sweating spots. See, this is some good stuff, man. This is some good stuff. I think this would be nice if this was linked as a, like, helpful starter set or something. I saw something else, too. Sweating tips. Guide or something. Sweating guide. Basic sweating guide. Put in Calypso forum. Sweating, best way to farm sweat. Good on people sweating. So you go to a place with sweat circles like universe. Legend of 1k sweat per hour. Let's see what this is. One thing that new player Entropia gravitates towards is the sweating. The most available new lights in the game to are not spending it first, so I'll go and do something. sweating. It's weakness of suppression. Sweatiness, interesting. Does nothing. At one point, players will be barred from sweating after getting the sweat skill to a certain number. Prevent this from being the full. It's lifted and the sweat skill can go on for 8 hours now, though it has no effect on sweating whatsoever. So it is useless. When sweating, the sweat gather has a lock chance to check 5%. Therefore, on average, 1 out of every 20 attempts will succeed. Please note this is an average probability, therefore anomalies such as dead attempts will certainty that over time the total successes will equal 1 out of 20 of the total attempts. Now, how long does all this take? The timing is different based on success or failure, where failure takes 2 seconds for the gather to recover, and success takes 5 seconds to extract sweat. Thus, we can estimate every 5 seconds succeeding, we spend 30 seconds. Well, thus, each successful sweat on average takes 43 seconds. The amount sweated varies, but sticks between 1 and 4 sweat per bottles. Being still newish, I don't have any knowledge of give more sweat, but I'm starting to doubt it. Nea's place is the go-to sweat spot, and I have yet to set foot there, so I cannot say one. Boreas is also a popular sweat spot that many argue is better than Nea's. I am there right now. The creature draw 1 to 4 sweat per extraction. So here, I'm going to assume for all creatures. I guess I was wrong. That all creatures, at least the big sweat spots, extract that rate of... Fuck, it killed me. Of course it killed me. Why does it say unreachable? It's gonna say I can't extract someone. Can't acquire any more stuff from that creature. So both. Just killed itself. Okay. Okay, so hold on. I don't know if he's actually trying to bring him to the sweat circle because he's about to go way off mark here. Okay, well I'll bring him to the sweat circle then. Okay. I'll go back to reading this. This is probably the best thing. I should link this to the fucking wiki. So, you know, for sweat bottles, being still new, I don't have any knowledge of various creatures to give more sweat, but I'm starting to doubt it. Nea's place is the go-to sweat spot, and I have yet to set foot there, so I cannot say one way or another if the critters draw more sweat, but I will say the place is also a popular sweat spot that many argue is better than Nea's. I am the creatures drop 1 to 4 sweat per extraction. All creatures, at least at the big sweat spots, extract 4 sweat. But it's successful could be 0, which it cannot. Let's assume 3 acknowledging is a high average, but just to make a point about the outward myth. In an hour, 3600 seconds. It didn't fucking kill me, did it? You fucking... How did you hit me every time? Oh, come on. I mean, I at least went up and I did not increase. Oh, I did increase in evade skill. Okay, a little bit. That's worthwhile. Fuck, I already scanned them. Okay. Go back. 1 minute an hour, 3600 seconds. One looks like to have 83.7 successful extractions if we assume an average of 3 sweat per sweat. Hour with optimal conditions, as soon as one never misfires, never dies, never has to spend a... Let's go crazy and say 4 each time. Perfect sweating. That would still only be 335 sweat an hour. Getting 4 bottles each time will take English from 1k. Yet still, ask Rookie Chat, and inevitably you will be told that 1k per hour is what good sweaters can produce. It's a people students also make 1k in 30 minutes. Statistically, that is simply impossible. Successful, that would be 720 extractions. At that rate, it would be possible. Skill is a vestigial trait in the game. It does nothing now, even if it had a function in the past. So it is useless. Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. In 6 hours. I think it took me 3 hours yesterday to get 1k sweat. So luck runs down over a lot of time. 5 hours always wins out. Stay safe. Keep your chin up. For bottles in a minute, nobody can. Huh. Okay. I don't know about the 6 hour thing. Yesterday it took me 3 hours to hit 1,000. I don't know why he'd say 6. Circle the beats better and prevent them from moving, making it failed attempts. Big enough to get below these choices. Jesus, I just suck ass at sweating. I think that's royal, right? Plus 2, 8 HP, and hit lightly. I'd say you probably won't really be able to hang in there something until about 4 ranks of evade. Once you hit this point, spend most of your time on this small spot. First one's only, and it's long dead now. That's the only Swant community that I know is in LA24. Wow, I don't think I've hit a single one. Oh, of course, the one time I look at... Okay. I was gonna reset, but... Oh, and now I get focused. So as I try to get about 2k a day, 3 if I'm really lucky. Let's get distracted. Forest is much nicer landscape. Experienced players, my take at the moment is everybody seems to just get as much as on average. Small sweat circles at 4 zeros. Way too quiet, like if he's on quiet, perhaps. Swans are chats and for teams on weekends. I also see too, but from them, leftover potato salad in the fridge. And if I die, I die. I don't really care. Leftover potato salad, gotta eat my fill. Believe I'm that looks like potato salad. Fuck you! Fuck. I mean, it increased my evade skill a little. Thank goodness. Dodge is for range, and I haven't been doing it. Dodging. I think that killed me. I heard it. No. Okay. I get it. We'll heal. Monster here that's not okay, back to raiding. dead. That's wild. Oh, he's buying up to 3K? Storage. Come here, you rat bastard. Okay, where is he? David Cortland. Oh, fine. I mean, if I get scammed, I get scammed. I don't really care. Ooh. That's awesome. Ooh. Okay. That's awesome. People actually come here to buy it. That's so cool. I'm so happy right now. That's so awesome. I'm so happy right now. Pop in and tell me like a guy like that. I have a trade channel now. We're both bringing one in. We done fucked up. I tried to be helpful, but I think in the end I kind of probably fucked myself. I actually got kind of upset that I did that. I got very upset. Maybe heal like that. Me too. I can't believe I made 1.5 pets. I'm very happy. So there's no benefit to gaining what's what skills, assuming there's no benefit in profession. So it's interesting to me. However, looks like there are buyers and just kind of show up and claim they're looking at the buttons. It's very nice. about to die. My death is right here. I feel it on the doorstep. The end is nigh. It's over. Oh, come on, bro. What did a fucking 360 no scoped on me? What the, you weren't even looking at me, dude. This motherfucker. Well, on that 360, let's go. On 360. Looks like it's a very destruction. I'm watching it. That should keep me going for a minute now. Oh, he's useless. Okay, I'll wait for someone to come. I tried it once and got me done fucked up. Fucked me up. Fucked me up. Oh, I don't know if he realizes there's one right here. Oh, of course you're coming to kill me. It's not like I've just got to make sure I'm not dying. Can I acquire more sweat? I'll just drag him up here then. Ha! He literally attacked me. Tank alive. Fuck. Get fucking wrecked. Oh, okay. Item is damaged beyond repair. Got it. I am human. Hear me. Something I can eat. Oh, it's this thing. Full of damage. Bullet damage. Oh my god, he fucking one-shot me, dude. Are you fucking... As you can see, things are crazy. Okay, let's see if I survive longer than 2 fucking seconds this time. Crazy games. Crazy, crazy games. Don't tell me I'm dead, dude. Okay. attacked. That's fine. Alright, I'll go get someone. Get on PC. I can play on PC now. Like a legit PC game I can play. Oh, that's cool. Games, kids games. Squad games. Games aren't any multiplayer games. So let's go back to the genre. You'd think to be something. Attacked. It's possible he could have killed me. He didn't, thank goodness. What are you? Oh, I'm being wrecked. You got me, boy, you got me. probably gonna immediately kill me again, right? Actually, someone in here? Hello? I don't think so, right? It's just me, I'm assuming. Yeah. Wait, there wasn't a best. Okay, these are all literal city builder games. Oliver is not. That's not a browser game. Dark Orbit isn't a browser game anymore. Okay, listen. Enlisted's not a browser game. Come on, man. I'm not that dumb. Dude, I'm gonna get wrecked. Go fucking pay attention to someone else, please. He got me. We'll go all the way over here. Hopefully, I just get left on. No game's good. Just say no game. Dude can't be swept from. Mining right here? goodness, am I dead? Goodness, I was about to be like, oh crap.
Had 10 YouTubers put their hand on a private jet. Last take their hand up, had to give it away to someone random.
A private jet?
Yeah, 10 YouTubers, but they're millionaires. They don't need a fucking jet.
I imagine there's a lot of tax implications when you receive a private jet as a gift, as a normal person.
Here's the thing a lot of people don't understand, because they're like, oh, Mr. Beast fucks people over. He gives them prizes and taxes. Just sell it. Sometimes I'll just buy it if they don't want it. So for the jet, we paid like 2.5 million for it. If you're the random person the YouTuber picks, then you can just sell it for probably like at least 2.1. And after taxes, you have like 1.4 million. But like Twitter will be like, holy shit, guys, here's how Mr. Beast just fucked this guy over. Ruined their life. It's like, no, you don't understand how money works.
I don't think any of us understand how your money works. You're speaking Jeff Bezos things right now.
Had 10 YouTubers put their hand on a private jet. Last take their hand up, had to give it away to someone random.
A private jet?
Yeah, 10 YouTubers, but they're millionaires. They don't need a fucking jet.
I imagine there's a lot of tax implications when you receive a private jet as a gift, as a normal person.
Here's the thing a lot of people don't understand, because they're like, oh, Mr. Beast fucks people over. He gives them prizes and taxes. Just sell it. Sometimes I'll just buy it if they don't want it. So for the jet, we paid like 2.5 million for it. If you're the random person the YouTuber picks, then you can just sell it for probably like at least 2.1. And after taxes, you have like 1.4 million. But like Twitter will be like, holy shit, guys, here's how Mr. Beast just fucked this guy over. Ruined their life. It's like, no, you don't understand how money works.
I don't think any of us understand how your money works. You're speaking Jeff Bezos things right now.
Had 10 YouTubers put their hand on a private jet. Last take their hand up, had to give it away to someone random.
A private jet?
Yeah, 10 YouTubers, but they're millionaires. They don't need a fucking jet.
I imagine there's a lot of tax implications when you receive a private jet as a gift, as a normal person.
Here's the thing a lot of people don't understand, because they're like, oh, Mr. Beast fucks people over. He gives them prizes and taxes. Just sell it. Sometimes I'll just buy it if they don't want it. So for the jet, we paid like 2.5 million for it. If you're the random person.
Oh hell no, dude. I'm kind of like freaking out.
Can we get much higher? So high. Can we get much higher? So high. Can we get much higher? So high. Can we get much higher?
This is Hellhole, one of America's most famous yet intimidating locations for cave diving.
Unwedged.
And today, I'm in the mountains of California to explore Hellhole for myself.
Oh my god. We're going in that?
Yeah, man.
Not only are we going in, but at the end of the cave is a room called the Hall of Faces. Now, in this room are a bunch of creepy faces and a hidden treasure chest that's supposed to be kept a secret for future divers.
Nothing quite brings people together like making fun of Twitch in their terrible decision making. Because boy, do they make a lot of terrible decisions. However, I might have just found something that is dumber than anything Twitch has done over the past week. Which is crazy because they've done a lot of dumb shit. But just take a look at this tweet from Dexerto. Twitch banned streamer @CardboardCowboy for playing their own music. Playing their own copyright material, their own music that they created. How can you be that dumb? That doesn't even sound real. Because it isn't real. How do I know? Well, just take a look at Cardboard Cowboy's Twitter. This was highly inaccurate, Dexerto. How about you do a little bit of fact checking? But this tweet got super viral, and it was also super viral on Reddit. So what actually happened? It turns out, I found out, it's not Twitch being the big boogeyman. Now, we can rain check it. I'm sure Twitch will do some dumb shit in the future we can yell at them for. But this is a problem that affects more than just Twitch streamers. It also affects YouTubers. And it all comes down to copyright claims and DMCA, an issue that YouTubers are also very familiar with. And stick around to the end of the video because I also have a huge announcement. But let's jump into the actual story at hand. And to start, we have to answer the question, who's Cardboard Cowboy? If that name sounds familiar, it might be because you remember him from Penis Gang. And if you don't know what that is, that sounded really weird, but it's totally normal. It's not a sex thing at all. It's not a sex thing. He was on a game show with me. It was Miskip's game show, Schooled, and we all thought the game show was fucking dumb and rigged. So we decided to throw every single question by drawing penises. And it got to the point where Miskip decided to give us super easy questions like 5 plus 5, and we would draw a penis in return. All of us. Me, Cardboard Cowboy, Pay Money Wubby, and, well, not EV. You know, there was a whole cheating scandal with him. But that's another story for another day because he quit on Penis Gang and he actually answered the question. But Cardboard Cowboy is my ride or die. I fuck with that guy because he drew a penis even though it was a super easy layup for tons and tons of money. What happened to him? Well, here's the summary that got really viral on Reddit.
Channel, which is basically what happened was this. Cardboard Cowboy created a lo-fi channel, which is a 24/7 music channel. He owns 100% of the rights for that music. He owns 100% of the rights to the visuals on it. Twitch banned him for 48 hours, saying that he was running a music channel, and that he needs to sign a contract to prove that he owns the rights to the music. He does own the rights to the music. So he reached out to them for that contract, and they responded to him by saying, you're actually indefinitely banned with no reason for it. They basically told him to eat ass. And then on top of it, they said attempting to evade restrictions placed on your account may result in additional penalties up to and including indefinite suspension.
So let's break that down. If you don't know, if you're banned on Twitch for another channel, you're banned on every single channel for Twitch. It's called ban evasion. You can't be banned somewhere and then stream somewhere else, which kind of makes sense. You know, if you got banned and then just were able to make a new account, it would kind of defeat the purpose of the ban in the first place. However, the reason that his channel was banned is because you're apparently not allowed to create radio station channels without express permission from Twitch. I think maybe they're scared that you would have a radio channel of music that you don't actually own, so I think they like to check it first. So when he created his lo-fi channel, they were like, oh, ho, you actually need permission for this. We're going to take it down for a bit and then check with the headquarters over here. And so they checked with headquarters. It took a little while. And while they were checking with the headquarters, he got an email. This is the exact email that said, your account was recently suspended for courtesy channel livestream suspension. After reviewing the details, we decided that your account will remain suspended. And that's his lo-fi channel, which would mean that his main channel, Cardboard Cowboy, is also suspended, which means that he wouldn't be able to stream anymore, which is his main source of income, which is really fucked because all he wanted to do is just start a lo-fi channel. He didn't know that he had to ask for the rules for it. He just wanted to do it. And he actually owned all the music, so it shouldn't be a big deal. And this is Cardboard Cowboy himself summarizing it all.
Fucking Twitch spam a lo-fi channel because thought the music wasn't mine but was mine, and then my main account gets affected.
Okay, it's not. How have I been doing this? What time is it? 4:24? I don't think I've been doing that. Only an hour. Oh, this dude's fucking useless too. Both are.
Enemy lines. Get on the rope. Get on the rope. Let's have on the rope. Get him.
We didn't kill him? Oh boy, we're dead. We're dead. Dead. We're dead. We're dead.
What are you doing? Jared!
Dead. One.
Nice. One farther right. On ping. Now.
2 dead.
Red ping.
I'm hit.
Nice.
Oh, this guy's chasing me through. Okay, it's a stream sniper for sure.
What are you guys playing today? Are you playing WoW or are you playing BattleBit?
Listen, if you're trying to game, I'll bail on WoW for today.
Alright, let's go.
Listen, it's not that I don't want to play the Warrior chat. It's that I value my video game time with friends lately. That's all.
There we go.
Come on, you Ash. There's a guy in the grass right in front of you. I sniped him. He's laying down.
Appreciate that.
Oh, he was eating a sandwich. I'm sure the guy never liked him. What? Okay.
I'm like a zillion push to talks now. Discord squad.
Sucker.
During one of my streams a while ago, someone asked me if I could get Riley Reid to come on the podcast, you know, to talk about wieners, vaginas, pussies, and RuneScape, just the normal type of porn talk on the podcast. And I responded saying I don't think Riley Reid would ever want to do that because she doesn't like me, personally. And that led to me telling the story of the beef between Riley Reid and myself. Beef being the wrong word, but for lack of a better term, the bad blood between us. Although this was a while ago, so I'm sure she probably doesn't remember or just doesn't care anymore. But now, ever since I told that story on a stream, people are constantly asking me during streams to tell the story again. And it's kind of cute, kind of like, you know, a kid asking their grandfather who fought in Vietnam to tell them war stories that they've heard a million times from him. Except in my case, the only war I fought was on the shores of Riley Reid's butthole. So I figured I'd make a video dedicated to telling the story. So it all started when I made a video about Riley Reid's abominable rap, which remains today.
So, having said that, what useful purpose does the camera position in the PC version of End Wars serve? I really can't think of much. If the idea was that they didn't want the player to know what maps looked like before they were discovered by units throughout the course of the match, which would be pretty dumb in the context of this game's setting, then a fog of war mechanic would have been a much better way of achieving this. The only thing I can speculate is actually the case is that this was a convenience feature for consoles that was lazily brought over to PC with no thought behind whether it improved or hindered gameplay, which is disappointing. And look, I'm sorry if you have nostalgic feelings for this game, but I've only just begun to really get into what I didn't like about this gameplay, and it's only going to get worse from now. It only took me until the second mission in the game to realize something else about End War that pretty much ruined the combat for me for the rest of my time with the game. I have to wonder if anyone else ever realized this about how damage is dealt between different units, because I think you have to be a little touched to notice these sorts of things. But as soon as I did, there was really no going back. Combat in End War is timer-based. What the hell do I mean by that? Any projectiles that your units shoot, with the only real exception being artillery, are purely cosmetic. It does not matter if a tank shell hits an enemy on your screen. That is not what is doing damage to them. Instead, what it looks like to me is that when two units engage each other, a little invisible timer starts to count down. How quickly it takes before a unit takes damage is dependent on a hierarchy, or maybe rather a triangle, or a pyramid. One that the game proudly displayed to me during a loading screen. For example, let's say you attack a tank unit with helicopters. Because helicopters are programmed to be great against tanks, they will deal damage every 2 to 3 seconds if fully engaged and uninterrupted. For the tank unit to deal damage to the helicopters, on the other hand, it takes around 20 seconds. This is how combat is dealt with every unit in End War. APCs doing damage to helicopters? Every 2 to 3 seconds if all vehicles are engaged. The reverse of that? Around 20 seconds. And there's very little tactically that you can do to counter this if you do not have the right unit type that is arbitrarily required. Other, frankly better RTS games will usually include mechanics that will let you defeat stronger units with weaker ones if you take the time to plan. A common example of this is side and rear armor mechanics in games that have tank combat. End War, being an absolute chad, has nothing of the sort. I hope I don't have to explain why this is such a bad idea, but I'm going to anyway for the purpose of being thorough. Some of the most fun I've had in Wargame has been when winning skirmish battles whilst being completely under-equipped. Defeating the AI when it's tried to helicopter rush me while all I have is a company of tanks, as an example. Because in Wargame, it's very rare to be in a situation where you are completely helpless. In the scenario I just gave, even though helicopters can be absolutely deadly against tanks, you can easily win by hiding them in forests. When the helicopters get too close, most tanks' machine guns are more than capable of making short work of pretty much any of them. This is exactly the sort of gameplay that this weird hierarchical timer-based system makes impossible. And all of this actually brings us back to a statement I made earlier, that End War is barely an RTS. Because sure, this game may kind of look like one, and most of the controls might make this game feel like other RTS games you've played before. I mean, you can drag select units and right-click to make them move. But how much strategy is there really in this supposed strategy game? I think that GameSpot got it best with their description of the combat. Kevin Van Ord described it as simple rock, paper, scissors skirmishes, and there really isn't a much better way to put it than that. Did your APC roll up on an enemy tank? Tank beats APC. Did your tank reveal an enemy helicopter? Heli beats tanks. Sorry, pal. And what may be the final nail in the coffin of this combat mechanic is the shield system. Because at least in other games, if one of your units gets outclassed by another, stronger unit, then at the very least you can do some damage before you're wiped out. Yeah, not in End War. There's this energy shield system, you see. Kind of like how in Halo, where you deplete your energy shield before you start taking HP damage, your units are similarly protected from taking hits to their health by a rechargeable shield. This makes it impossible to deal any damage to units that are above yours in the hierarchy. Because by the time your weaker unit is able to inflict damage just one time, it will already have been hit a dozen more. At least this flawed combat system isn't as obvious when it comes to infantry in the game. They have additional modifiers to this invisible timer, such as whether they're behind cover or in a building, which means that when it comes to infantry combat, there is at least some strategy and planning involved. Earlier in the story section, I mentioned that it was pretty weird how the US strike force that went into Copenhagen seemingly had no supply concerns behind the enemy lines, even having access to equipment like helicopters. I thought the answer to that in this gameplay section would be that if the game did not give you any helicopters, you'd be pretty much screwed as soon as the first tank unit rolled in. But the thing is that one of the two infantry unit types in the game is equipped with rocket launchers, so there isn't really much excuse. In fact, I think that if End War was more focused on infantry combat as opposed to whatever the fuck it is now, then a lot of these problems wouldn't be as apparent. Instead, we have this heartless binary combat system, and it really didn't do the game any favors. My oh my, what a ride this has been. Shanghai, you're something, man. End War is quite the wonderful mess. It reworked the RTS format in some very creative ways to make the genre more playable on consoles. And if nothing else, I think that's one thing that makes this game such an interesting study. Because how can the very same unchanged game that a lot of people enjoyed so much when played on an Xbox or PlayStation 3, that really was a pioneer of the genre on those platforms, feel so lackluster when ported to PC? And after all of this analyzing and exploring this game for the first time, without any prior experience or nostalgia attached, the reasons become more obvious the more I spend playing and rewatching my footage of End War. I think I've already made the point clear that PC gamers have always expected more from real-time strategy games than what End War was able to deliver. And what better way to show that than to directly compare End War to a different game? Because you see, even though this video is approaching its end now, this script I'm currently writing is only at the halfway point. Because Ubisoft released another real-time strategy game just a year before End War came out. And whereas End War was clearly a console game first and foremost, this one was only for the Master Race gang. Democracy has failed, and I killed it.
I want you to subscribe to me.
Scav Merchant Hub.
On YouTube, thank you, cringe. Fuck.
Welcome to you in Shanghai Studio. I'm gonna tell you what you wanted to know. With more than 400 talent here, open-minded, true and sincere, developing games for you to cheer. Studio standing in the off-ramp position. It's downtown Shanghai, it's a great location. Our office is fully open space, all the resources we can access to bring us all to the success. Come on, visit us one day, we'll take you downtown, we'll bring you down here just to show you around. We need the talent, I tell you no lie, we work with a smile, with passion and pride. Visit us one day, our training program, the game we design, help everyone to shine. Visit us one day, visit us one day.
If you have just now stumbled upon this channel for the first time, or you have not watched my previous episode where I covered the So, having said that, what useful purpose does the camera position in the PC version of End Wars serve?
What are 3 people attacking me? Why was that 3 misses? Oh hell no, bro. Everyone's just fucking. I got 3 different fucking things attacking me.
Though the new Commonwealth has declared neutrality.
Thinking about playing this game again. I miss it. See if I get it on Steam. Ooh, baby purchase for myself.
Though the new Commonwealth has declared neutrality, it is agreeing to let European...
Your mission today is a lightning assault on this uplink. Seize the uplinks in this sector and sweep aside all resistance. The Euros are defending their homeland. Here's resistance.
Flintlock is go. Repeat, Flintlock is go. Airlift inbound on DZ. We have uplinks identified on radar. We have units inbound on DZ.
Brought in all of them. Okay.
This is Baskin. Ghost deployed.
Sidecar. Rollers ready for action. Sidecar here. All rollers ready for action. This is Sidecar.
On the way.
Yes, sir. In transit.
Vampire here. We're at full strength.
Check Central Quadrant. Eyes on European Army troops.
On the way.
Copy. Moving.
This is Hammer.
This is Sidecar.
Transports ready to deliver reinforcements. Detected hostile units are displayed on mission radar. We have units inbound on DZ.
This is Hammer.
Sidecar here.
This is Hammer.
This is Sidecar.
This is Hammer.
Falling back.
Oh, I remember being
Check
hardcore
Alpha.
into like.
It is secured.
This is Vampire.
Reinforcements ready to deploy.
I was big on infantry. It was like predominantly infantry with
Check Foxtrot. Uplink has been secured by hostiles.
like one of each to act as a force multiplier in case anything happens.
Position.
Units entering the battle space.
Copy. Moving.
Yes, sir. Moving up.
Downloaded it's ready
Roger.
to play.
On the move. Copy. Moving.
This is Hammer. All rollers factory mid.
Check Northeast Quadrant. Eyes on Panther tanks.
This is Sheriff. Support scouts. Ready to roll.
Transports ready to deliver reinforcements. We have units inbound on DZ.
Roger. Fall back.
Check Unit 1. Forget smash.
Yes, sir. Moving up.
Falling back.
Schwarzkopf tanks are more than a match for IFV transports. Check Northeast Quadrant. Eyes on AMZ 26 Infantry fighting vehicles.
Hammer here. Backfield here. All rolls are running free.
This is Sidecar.
This is Hammer. This is Thor. First, they're cooking up. Backfield here. We're in position. Vampire here. Grabbing his uplink, sir.
This is Sidecar.
Use fastback IFVs to knock gunships out of the air.
Understood.
Falling back.
Disengage. Yes, sir.
Check Unit 4. They'll get smashed.
This is Long Arm. We're scoring hits, sir.
Check Unit 2. They're in trouble.
This is Hammer.
We can let the hostile unit evacuate or attack it again to finish it off. Check Lima. We have secured it.
This is Sidecar.
Hammer here. We're engaging now. This is Packfield. Hammer here. Got a kill, sir. This is Hammer. Vampire. Grip. Strip.
We have multiple units ready to deploy.
This is Hammer.
Rubber here. Not engaging the enemy here.
Eyes on European Army troops. Check Sierra. Uplink secured by hostiles.
Copy. Moving. This is Glover. Rollers ready for action.
Hammer here.
Falling back.
Copy that. Down.
Hostiles deploying. Eyes on EC-220.
Transports who are being deployed to the LZ. We're gonna see a little cinematic camera here. Oh crap! I was always hoping there was an easier way. Oh, they've just used their special weapon, I think, on me. Yep. Ooh, I just lost three of my units. All right, howdy folks. Welcome to Tom Clancy's End War. This 2009 Ubisoft RTS was, quote, a huge commercial failure, end quote, and a sequel was never made. Now this video today will not necessarily get into why it was such a huge commercial failure, but I will get into the game itself, and the reason for that is the Steam store sale basically put this game up for about $2, and this was a huge part of my childhood. The game is like 13 years old. I was about 14, 15, and I remember playing this an absolute buttload on my PlayStation 3. Now, there's a lot of cool things and mechanics within End War, but at the same time, it was very restrictive and weird, and I feel like the reasons why it was a commercial failure will maybe become apparent later on. But first, the main gameplay idea is World War III. Europe, the US, and Russia are all fighting with each other, and you have to pick, first of all, the faction you want to fight for. Now, all these factions have like slight variations. The US has the best stealth and robot units, Europe has the fastest vehicles, and Russia has the most damaging vehicles. We're gonna go for the US just because we can, and then you have to pick your battalion, which makes a slight difference. The big thing here is the order of battle. As you can see, we can see different cards here, which just means how many units you have in your roster and how many units you can deploy onto the battlefield. So for example, the 5th Armored can only deploy 2 riflemen, but 6 armored and 6 artillery units. And then there's a very slight variation where some units will be doing more damage or will have less health. We're just going to go with the 15 special operations for this video, just because it's a one-off. We get riflemen with 10% more damage but with less health, and we get a pretty decent sort of mix of all units. The first thing is, you see the world map, and the idea to win is you have to have, I believe, 28 territories, or you have to control all 3 faction capitals. So obviously your own, and then Europe's and Russia's, or if you're playing as Europe, you have to, capture the United States one under Russian one while defending your own one. But as you can see, there are actually 39 territories, so you only have to control 28 of them. So you don't even have to go for total domination. The idea is that you go through these objectives and go across the world map. You're going to scroll through here, although it's a little buggy on PC. Blue is Europe, green is Russia, and orange is the US, with the capitals being Paris, Moscow, and Washington, D.C. So the factions are all fighting each other. There's a whole prelude that sort of leads up to why Europe and the US are fighting each other, and I think it's Russia scheming to try and force them to be enemies instead of allies against Russia. But where this game really shines, and where I was surprised it was a commercial failure, is the barracks, where you get to modify every single one of your types of units. So engineers, riflemen, tanks, gunships, and this goes from adding attack upgrades to defense upgrades, ability upgrades, and I think there's also mobility upgrades for some of the vehicles. And these can be very simple, from just having a little bit more movement speed, but if you go to the combat transports, you'll actually see some of the visuals change. So this one adds more damage to air units. It actually kind of looks like the automatic gun, the 76mm, I think it's Italian Autobreda gun. This actually looks very familiar, similar to that, but you can actually change the look of some vehicles. So here we'll add a different sort of layer armor, and I was just so impressed by seeing your units sort of evolve over time. However, the higher the upgrade, the higher the rank requirement is. So every unit has a rank, starts off at the lowest, and by using them in battles and not getting them destroyed, they'll eventually get to a higher and a higher and a higher level, which is what you want, because otherwise only veterans can, for example, use the attack number 7 upgrade, and any units that are below that will not have this upgrade. But that's not where this ends. You can also go to the battalion and add special strikes, so you can upgrade your airstrikes, you can upgrade your reinforcements that you can call in, which we'll get to later on in battle, and maybe most important, you can actually modify the skin of your entire battle or army. So if you want your tanks to look like Cajun, or if you want them to maybe just look, which I personally really like, is the Ghost, which is nice and gray. You can go for the tan, but we're going to go for the Ghost just because I think it looks the most interesting. You get these company reward or company credits. As you can see, you have to spend these on upgrades, and the more expensive the upgrade, the more points you'll have to earn, and you earn those points by going into battle. So there is definitely a layer of upgradability there. So technically you could pick the same battalion, so you could pick that same battalion I picked at the start, but if you upgrade your units in a different order, say you go for the tank upgrades, or you go for the transport upgrades, or you go for the engineer upgrades, it's a slight variation in how your battles will play out, and especially because you get to pick what units you want to bring into those battles, and then which units you decide to upgrade. It's gonna make for different experiences. So here we are defending against Russian attackers in the US, or we can decide to attack Europe, but because I think it's more important to keep this, we're actually going to play the Grissom defense, so we'll be right back. Alright, so like every battle, you get to choose your force deployment. You can go anywhere from, say, double engineers to double air, or if you want to be crazy, you could go for double riflemen, though then you're kind of slow at the start. The idea is that you capture more than half of these objectives on the map, which will then sort of force the enemy to react, but you basically want to either eliminate all of their units, or you want to capture the entire map worth of objectives. The thing what we're going to do here, we're going to go for one engineer and one transport, with the idea of bringing them to a further away point and then calling in reinforcements that are going to be sort of back capping points. So think of this like Company of Heroes, where you send units out to those capture zones. Now all of these zones can be upgraded depending on how your rank is. So for me, I'm low rank, so I don't have any upgrades available yet. But you can upgrade those to have the ability to either provide you with airstrikes or provide you with recon, stuff like that. A huge thing that I don't like about End War is the lack of a free camera. So this is, you can only be near or around units. You can't look in the distance, you can't, you know, I'm stuck. I'm holding W right now. I actually can't leave the area around that vehicle or that unit. There's this action cam where if stuff happens, for example, it gets like zoomed in, which does look pretty cool. We're going to use them to capture Delta while I'm using my armored vehicles with the engineers inside to go ahead and capture Alpha. Now, the thing that we should talk about, and why this game was really cool to me personally, though I can see why maybe people weren't a huge fan of that because it's very situational, I suppose, is the voice commands, which honestly really put this game in a very interesting position. So we're going to make the engineers capture Alpha, while my riflemen are going to be capturing Delta. Now what we can do here is we can say Unit 2, move to Delta. And now Unit 2 is moving to Delta, and then I can say either Unit 3, enter Unit 2, or, which makes more sense, is just to do it yourself because it's kind of a simple command. But what this means is you could control the entire battlefield using just voice commands, which I thought was really, really cool. Something that I had never seen before in a game. And on the PlayStation, or Xbox for that matter, when you're looking at RTS games, they always felt a little bit iffy or maybe annoying to control. And having the ability to use your voice made a huge difference to me personally, in thinking like, hey, this is pretty doable. So here again, what we can do is when they're done capturing, we can tell Squad 1 to go capture Foxtrot. Unit 1, secure Foxtrot. It seemed a little weird on the PC now in hindsight, because obviously on the computer you don't have to really deal with the maybe I'm not a fan of using a console for RTS games. On the PC you have a little bit more freedom using your mouse and keyboard, but with just sticks it made such a big thing. So I sat there in the living room with my parents and I was talking to my console. My parents like gave me this look, it's like, are you role-playing that you're a commander? It's like, no, look, you can give your guys orders. And I think my parents were very impressed back in 2009, 2010 with this technology. It's like, oh, wow, that's so unique and so cool. So yeah, it meant that without, using your controller, you could still play this game. So technically speaking, if the controller was low battery, you could still mess around with it, which is interesting. We're going to move our armor forward. I'm also going to call in a force recon. But yeah, just know that you can definitely... Oh, there's tanks there. Let's mark those with our artillery. Get some aircraft involved. And sit here. See, okay, we've just knocked out the infantry squad there. Let's call in an airstrike on these tanks. Should be coming in off the map. And you can upgrade these airstrikes to have more and better equipment, so you can do more damage. But the main thing is, units start with a shield. Once the shield is down, units will start actually losing tanks or infantry, depending on what unit it is, over time. And then actually, let's try to see if we can hit this tank, because what's happening right now is this enemy tank is trying to be evacuated. If the crew makes it out, the unit's veterancy is retained. So if your units get completely knocked out to where they have, oh, that's artillery, these infantry or engineers, where units get completely knocked out and then the enemy destroys the unit that's trying to escape, you will actually not regain the veterancy. I believe, I'm not sure if you gain veterancy yourself by killing units that are injured. It seems a little rude, but it's possible. We're going to tell our engineers to engage, or our artillery to engage. We have our helicopters on station just to provide some support in case we see more armor. I believe these strikes through them means that they can be captured, but they cannot be upgraded to give you force recon or airstrikes, but they do count towards the total number of uplinks that you have. Once you have more than half, the battle goes into DEFCON mode, and then the team that's currently behind actually gets to call in a super weapon and also disable one uplink to sort of put the guys on the teams on the same foot. It sounds all very complicated, but trust me when I say it's not necessarily as complicated as it has to be. Our force recon has arrived, which is just some AI showing up in these Humvees that are a little bit futuristic with a crazy 50 cal on there. And you can upgrade these two to have better units or more units. As most things in this game, you can actually upgrade them to be slightly better or have more damage. Oh, there's actually tanks in the background there. So there's no fog of war. You can see anything the enemy is doing. You can see them back there. But as long as they're not spotted, your units cannot actually engage them. Now we're going to move our transports over to Sierra. So we're going to move there. bombardment. Artillery is ready. I don't want to fly my helicopters over towards Lima and then get eyes on those tanks and use my artillery, who have a pretty big range. You also have units capturing Yankee right now. You can see the bar slowly filling up over there. Do we see these guys? Okay, we're gonna go hunt these guys down. Our artillery is gonna engage, while our helicopters are gonna engage the armor. This game has a very basic sort of pyramid system. So tanks defeat transports. Transports defeat helicopters, and helicopters defeat tanks. However, there's obviously the infantry that's involved, with infantry kind of being... It depends. If they're in cover, they're really good against all units. If they're not in cover, like those riflemen who are about to get airstriked by my guys, then they are not as effective. Then there's artillery, which is really effective against all units, but only if the enemies are not within their range, because then artillery just melts. The second the artillery are within enemy range, they'll just melt. Now we do have infantry approaching, but we did knock out quite a lot. We knocked out 2 of their squads with an airstrike. See if we can capture Sierra, as our transports are going to be... You know, we're going to actually do an airstrike on these engineers as they're approaching. We upgraded the turrets on these guys. They're going to be blasting these engineers, and yep, they're going to be retreating. They're not going to be feeling so good. Actually, no, the airstrike took down just their infantry in general. However, now they are in cover. As you can see, we have a minus there, which means we are not as effective. But because we have that advantage of the airstrike going through their shield and knocking out half of their squads, but we are not doing as good as I thought. So we're actually going to pull these half-tracks back. Now we have DEFCON 1, which means the enemy gets to launch their super weapon. Okay, let's engage these tanks. Surprised my transports are actually doing as bad as they are. We're going to have to evacuate them from the battle and get them back to come back later. We'll move our infantry over to the cover. See if we can engage those engineers. Okay, this is them destroying one of my uplinks, most likely, which puts us... Yep, so now we're no longer ahead, because how you win is to have half plus 1 of the uplink. So they just destroyed one. Oh, it looks like they destroyed that one back there, the alpha one. So that one no longer counts, and now we are obviously no longer winning. So to win, I have to capture 1 more uplink from the enemy. Only the loser actually gets to do the uplink crash, and the loser is also the unit or the guy who gets to deploy the super weapon if they determine to do that. Now luckily they haven't done that yet, because usually they do it only when there's a lot of units close together. Our airstrike doing some decent damage there, goes straight through their shield. The artillery is going to start hitting these tanks. We send our helicopters after them. But as you can see, my force recon ability is now gone because the upgraded alpha building has been electronically, basically electronic warfare, and no longer works. We should, however, call in some more transports and then move those to Yankee once my infantry reaches it, or we could actually, I suppose, go and capture Lima, which would actually be a good idea. Find my transports who are being deployed to the LZ. We're going to see a little cinematic camera here. Oh, crap. I was always hoping there was an easier way. Oh, they've just used their special weapon, I think, on me. Yep. Ooh, I just lost three of my units. So the tank, the artillery, and the helicopter were all destroyed in a large nuclear strike. However, you can see what that did is if the loser or losing team decides to Unit 7, move to Yankee. Easier to do that, I think, than to actually go and move them there with the mouse. But the thing is, now they've used this nuke, they've destroyed a lot of parts of the map. A lot of barriers that were stopping units from driving through have now been opened. All my units were saved and extracted, so if any one of those units did have veterancy, at least they're not completely lost. But once the loser uses his tactical weapon, the winning party also gets to use his. So as long as the loser holds on to his special and he doesn't use it, the winning party doesn't get to use his either, which I guess in multiplayer, which I did play a little bit of, you could kind of abuse by just using that electronic warfare thing that they used on me there. We sure nuke these. By nuke, I just mean using the airstrike. But what you could do, you could just only use the electronic warfare ability, which meant you crash one of their uplinks, but if you never used the WMD, the enemy never got to use theirs either, which could cause for some interesting plays, because especially if you know that you don't want, you have to have all your guys relatively close together, and you don't want them to have access to that same WMD, you obviously want to try and not use it yourself. Now we're going to use it because obviously I feel like at this point I kind of have to. We're going to mount these guys up into transports. We cannot upgrade Yankee Sound. A lot of these buildings have actually been destroyed. We can only get Zulu upgraded. Get them into transports, and I think we'll run over to Zulu, but I'm really kind of trying to see if we can get a large amount of their troops together. It looks like they're deploying more infantry in the back there from a helicopter, and it would be awesome to just blow those guys to smithereens, but I want them to be relatively close together for a WMD deployment.
We have multiple units.
Let's see what this does. This is my tactical WMD. Here's a little cinematic from it. Weapons launched. I'm hoping this gets both of these engineer teams. Yes! It did. Oh wait, it didn't! What? They survived? Oh man, that's honestly really surprising. Okay, I'm honestly very impressed that other unit survived. These engineers died, but that wasn't necessarily as cool as I wanted it to be. Hey, number 3, go ahead and capture Whiskey, so we're going to disembark. Looks like we have... This helicopter's going to drop some armor right next to us. Luckily we have an airstrike ready. Could be armor, could be artillery, could be transports. It is... Okay, it's artillery. That's really, like, not an issue whatsoever. Do another airstrike on these engineers. Airstrikes cost 4 points. You get command points over time. So every time you call an airstrike, you lose or spend 4 command points. It also costs command points to call in units. As you can see, it calls... I think it costs anywhere from 2 to 4. And I want to say it depends on how many of these uplink areas you have. So we're actually going to win in 40 seconds because we have the majority. Oh wait, are we not engaging these damn artillery? Do we just let them escape? That's not very cool. Okay, come on, let's actually use an airstrike on them and then get closer. We do have another helicopter here that looks to be deploying some enemy infantry. Love the music in this game, by the way. It's very good. But yeah, sadly enough, it doesn't look like we're... Oh, we actually use the helicopters to engage these riflemen. And they're getting destroyed, although I'd love to destroy these artillery first. We have another 10 seconds. Let's actually use the airstrike on these riflemen. And can we destroy the artillery? Almost. Come on, we need to destroy one more. If you destroy every but one vehicle, they go... Ah, we didn't get it. We didn't get it. Because if you destroy 3 out of the 4 vehicles in a platoon, they pop up their flare and they go for the extract. It's a shame we didn't get to do that, but I believe we now get to see any of our units that maybe got some veterancy. 7 units were promoted. We got 239,000 credits. So yeah, we got a kind of a bad command rating. I think A or S is the best, but we're going to exit, and now we can actually go to the barracks and see how our units performed and what they upgraded. But at least we now have sort of a foothold in Northern Europe. So now we can either deploy here, where we are defending against the Russians, but they do have air support, and they have force recon support, or we can go to Europe, where we are attacking, and the enemy has force recon support, but we do not have any air support. We can take a look at our tanks, where it says that 1 unit is actually qualified to be using the next upgrade. Take a look at our transports. We have 2 units that are qualified to use the next upgrade. Engineers, we have 1 unit that's qualified to use the next upgrade. Alright, and as you can see, we've defeated 10 hostiles, we've fought 1 battle, we've won 1 battle, we have yet to lose a battle, obviously, and we can eventually upgrade to more of these airstrikes, which again do more damage. You can get bigger force recon, so you only start with 1 FAV and 1 infantry, but you can go all the way up to 2 infantry, 2 fast attack vehicles, and 2 tank units, but you do need to capture more uplinks and upgrade them. So if you want Force Recon number 1, you just need 1 uplink. You want Force Recon number 2, I believe you need 2, and for 3, you either need 3 or you need 4 to all be upgraded in the game per battle to actually call in that heaviest tab. This was just a look at Tom Clancy's End War. It was only a couple bucks during the Steam sale, and for me, such a huge game of my childhood, because I remember sitting in the living room playing PlayStation 3 and my parents looking at me like I was some weird sort of role-playing freak talking to my PlayStation. For now, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video looking at Tom Clancy's End War. If you want to see another video on this where I maybe progress a little bit further into the campaign, do let me know. For now, I hope you guys enjoyed and I'd love to see you in the next one.
2 hours? 2 hours. There's no one really here sweating, so it's kind of hard for me to fucking sweat, dude. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna call it good then.